Hello guys, welcome to this video. I'm so happy to welcome you. Today we are going to talk about a very important topic, which is the pros and cons of being an idealist. Okay, so it is 3:30 a.m. and the sun is rising. I'm not sure the sun actually ever set at this point. Look at that. Can you hear the birds singing? Ah. I just like this country.
I orten känner lukten av sutt och ganja. Brorsan berättar något som får alla att garva. Vi skrattar högt sen jalla, jag fortsätter vandra. Och vi är alla bröder, min mamma är som min kompis mamma. Och precis när du tror att alla känner
så den här bussen kan supa ner Passion.
So, being an idealist, huh? Is this something you want to be? Is this something that you are born to be? Or what's this idealist thing? You know, let's clear that out and let's dive into this. Because I mean, the question really here is being an idealist a superpower or a curse? Or is it a little bit of both? Because I'm sure some of you out there know it's probably not an easy debate to settle, but I'm gonna give you my take, my experience on this thing of being an idealist, which is kind of similar to being, I don't know, like a witch or something, I guess. Alright, let's talk about being an idealist. But first, I wanted to show you a book. Because as you saw previously in the video, I was in a book exchange. So I gave away a book and I picked up a book and I don't know what it is. So I figured that I could uncover once again, I believe it's a thing now on my channel. I believe I could uncover and do the big reveal at the end of the video. So stick around if you're curious. All I know is the keywords that are here, but we'll get back to that in a moment. Okay, so I scooched it a little bit closer here to get into the heart of the subject. So first, let's start with my history with idealism and the pattern, okay? So I am most definitely an idealist, which means that I live with an ideal as a basis for everything, which can be tricky sometimes, because I would get completely hyped up by the ideal, and then once I go back on Earth and I'm faced with the intricacies of this world, it can be a little bit of a contrast. So, as you may have guessed, being an idealist isn't for everyone. This is not a resting position or mindset or way of seeing things, or they're not always comfortable glasses, but they can be very much an asset. So let's dive finally into what you've been waiting for, the pros and cons of being an idealist. The cons. Let's just get the cons out of the way and end on a positive note. First cons of being an idealist is sometimes commitment issues, because as I was saying earlier, when you have an ideal as basis, and then in your mind you commit to this ideal, and then when you realize that this is not how it's going to unfold and how things are gonna go and play out, you might be tempted to back away and leave. So I did definitely face some commitment issues because of me being an idealist. Because in your mind, subconsciously, you commit to something that is ideal instead of committing to something that is real in a way. And the challenge of the idealist is to make the ideal a reality, right? And so that's the second con. It's that you are, as an idealist, you're not necessarily in touch with reality. Because your default setting is the mindset that, our mindset, or my mindset, is that the ideal is the basis. It's the default setting. Like, the way I think is that a part of me genuinely do not understand why I can't get my ideal, why I can't get the best, because to me the ideal is the best that you want for yourself. And so really there's really a part of me that does not understand why the ideal option isn't a given in the outer world and for everyone and in every context and circumstances. So this is sometimes losing touch. This sometimes leads to losing touch with reality, because you just go on an endeavor thinking that the ideal is a given, but it's not always the case, which can lead then to lots of disappointment and disillusions, because you are high on ideal, you know. So of course when you land back, as I keep saying, it can be a bit of a harsh landing. So you can be disappointed because, for example, when I started to my business as a jewel maker, my mindset was, okay, I'm gonna start the jewelry, I have the jewel maker, I'm gonna start the website, and then I'm going to have clients like that, and then I'm going to sell jewels like that. But it wasn't in the way of I want things to be quick and easy. It's just, for me, that's the ideal, because I needed to make this business work as soon as possible to make my dreams possible as soon as possible, especially because I've been waiting for a long time. And so that was definitely me being an idealist. I was like, okay, well, because I didn't see any reason why I wouldn't get, customers and clients. I'm not sure there's a difference between customers and clients. Do you know the difference, guys? So to me, it was a given that it would work instantly, and that it would be easy, and that it would give me lots of abundance, so this way I could just work for my business full time. But the truth is, this is not the reality. The reality requires more steps, more work in a way, and definitely more steps. And it's the same for, relationships. I'm gonna say okay. I go from a basis that my ideal exists out there, But actually I'm not sure it does, because my ideal is almost too perfect. You know, it almost doesn't have enough flaws in a way. So that definitely have me setting the bars higher, and of course in relationships that can lead to disappointment and disillusion as well. Because being an idealist also means you have trouble settling for less than perfect. And in return, this also can lead to lack of stability because of the lack of commitment, as I was mentioning before. It's connected. Because, for example, for me, I would have this idea in my head that is ideal, and so I would go for it immediately. And because it's ideal, it's perfect, you know, I just have it all perfect in my mind. And then when I meet the reality of my idea, I just have a huge emotional roller coaster, and that can be a bit unstable, as you can guess, and be lonely, because you feel on the outer rims of everybody else. Everybody, I mean, most of the people outside I see, they don't see the world the way I see it. I know this sounds very cheesy, but in a way that people understand that the ideal isn't always possible, and I still don't. Even though I'm giving you those lessons there, a part of me really does not understand why the ideal that we want isn't a thing as a default setting. I still don't fully grasp why not. Maybe that's my inner child, I don't know, but yeah, it can feel a bit lonely sometimes when everybody says, but Adé, you can't really do that. I mean, it's going to require a lot more steps, a lot more organization, or you know, when they sort of crush your dreams, not your dreams, but like your goals and stuff, but it's coming from a good place, but then you can feel like there is a difference of the way you feel and the way you see things. So again, you know, it's not, the point here is not to quit being an idealist, it's just to find a middle ground. Which leads me to the second part of this video, and this is the pros of being an idealist, because there are bound to be some, okay? So, the first one is that you set higher goals. As I was saying, you don't settle for mediocre, or rarely, you really aim high. And that can it can be, how do you say that? It can be, that's your own battery, you know, it's your own power plant, you know, because it really just lifts you in a way. For me, for example, staying in France and just staying there would have been settling for less than I actually wanted. And coming to Sweden, wanted to come with abundance and create abundance and foster abundance and have everything working out and really go for the vision that I carry within myself. This is brought by, I mean not brought, but like provided and lifted by me being an idealist, because I set higher goals. I don't have trouble settling for less, actually. And recently when I moved to Sweden and I had to find a job, because something that I haven't been telling you is that I lost my job before coming to Sweden, so I had to find a job. And the job I found is fine. It's getting me by, and I'm making very nice connection there. But it's also not the way I pictured me coming to Sweden. So I had to adjust to the fact that yes, I've set higher goals, but I still have to go through those steps. And yeah, so sometimes I have trouble reconciling the actual steps to reach those goals, but at least the goals are high and I'm still on my way to them. The other good thing is that you are most likely a good problem solver, because you think outside the box, you don't, it's not always practical, you won't always be easily realizable, but sometimes they will be, because being an idealist takes you on a different path, but because you think a different way, you become a problem solver. So yes, as I was saying with the cons, it creates some other issues, but it also creates a lot of adaptability and just a different way of thinking, you know, like different connections in your brain. And this is very helpful. This is very useful in life, to be sure. Another pro for me of being an idealist is that it sort of shelters you from the harsh sides and hardships of reality. Because even though I've been through hardships, my idealism and my inner child, in a way, they never went away. They never disappeared, because being an idealist, I think, I'm not sure it's something that ever goes away. It's like your own sensibility, or I don't know, for me it's part of my identity. I don't want to give that away. And I feel like being an idealist for many people is a way of sheltering yourself from the reality that can be a little harsh. So in a way that means that we don't become jaded, or not as quickly and as easily as most people, I guess. That's a shield in that way, you know, it sort of preserves your pink glasses on, you know, in a way. Because all of these, you know, like setting higher goals and being a good problem solver and everything, that's math. Obviously this means that being an idealist will give you higher chances to live your dreams and to make them real, you know, because for you this is the basis, this is the default setting. I don't see myself living a life where I don't live my dream. This is madness to me. This is so sad. And so finally, the last point, you've probably guessed it, is that idealists are also usually hopeful people, very hopeful people, that can sometimes be contrasted with being a bit of a pessimist, and you're like very, you know, like rolling your eyes at humanity and stuff because it doesn't live up to your standard. But I personally really associate the fact of being an idealist with the fact of being a hopeful person, because I really believe that to be an idealist you need hope and faith, even more than hope, I guess, now that I'm talking about it, because it's a blinded and pure faith that you will achieve and that your ideal is out there and that you will reach it, which is probably the case. It's just the way you will achieve it. It's not necessarily the way you pictured it, but it's a learning curve that we all do. So that's it. These are my pros and cons. I hope they sort of helped you, enlighten you in some ways. If you think of other cons and other pros, please drop them in the comment down below. I would like this video to be somewhat of a conversation starter where we can all come out as idealists and find a way to be idealists in the world without suffering of being an idealist too much. Okay, so now we're going to uncover this book. So let me see if my Swedish is correct, because I usually can use my phone with Google Translate, but my phone is filming right now. So I'm gonna have to use my memory and my previous knowledge of Swedish. So it was published in 2021. The book is in English. Of course, I picked among the books that are in English. I wasn't gonna pick one in Swedish. There is about 370 pages. You know, that's the thickness. And then the words that could describe the book are joy. I mean, they make me feel... Oh, yeah. The book make me feel happy, fascinated, overwhelmed? No. There are those two words here that I do not know what they mean. I could have looked it up, but I didn't. So you're going to have to help me out, or I'm going to put it down below. Hjälpsäker and underhållen. I think that's how it's pronounced. But I actually don't know what they mean, so that never mind. And then the other category here, Oh yeah, so if this book was a place, it would be under a big tree in the garden. I think it's kind of what is written here. If it was a person, it would be Carrie Bradshaw from the Sex and the City series that I loved. I watched so many times. If it was a season, I think it would be spring or summer or something like that. If it was a smell, it would be... Well, I can't actually read the spelling here, so I can't tell. For me, in the book that I gave away, I put rooibos. And here, the song, it's Boys by Lizzo. And I do not know this song, so I'm gonna have to check that out. Oh no, wait. Oh wait, no, I think that's the smell, and it's Rosa, so rose. And Doft. I don't remember what that is. But anyway, that's not the most important. Let's find out what type of book and what book it is. Oh, that looks very nice. Rule number 5, Girl Code. No woman gets left behind. That's a very good book. I like that. Okay, let's read this. When 3 best friends hatch a plan to solve their relationship, woos by matchmaking for one another, what could possibly go wrong? Okay, that sounds very Gossip Girly and Sex and the City, which are both series that I used to watch a lot. Yes, I had my Gossip Girl moment, as most of you probably did. Let's be honest. Meet Jemima, Megan and Simi. They are going to play the dating game by their own rules. They are ditching the dating apps and asking people out IRL, face to face, old school style. In this dating game, no woman gets left behind. A hilarious and uplifting debut novel told by Andy Osho's trademark wit, perfect for fans of Candice Carter-Williams, Lucy Diamond and Mahi McFarlane. I don't know any of those women, I'm so sorry. Supported with a striking marketing and publicity campaign. There, that's the campaign. Call her, February 2021, asking for a friend. So I have no idea exactly. This seems to be like a bit of a sensation. Well, I am curious to see what this book is. I feel like it might speak to maybe it's destined to a more younger generation as me, but I'm very, very keen to read this book and see where it takes me. So I'm just gonna add this to the huge pile of books that I still have to read. I don't know if you remember in the previous video I've uncovered a book that it was a blind date with a book from Books Upstairs in Dublin when I was in Dublin about a month and a half ago. So I put this in the card over here, I believe, so you can check that out. And I still haven't read this book, but one day I will, once my situation in Sweden is a bit more settled, once the business is properly launched, I can get back to my first loves, which is reading and writing books. But in the meantime, I'll see you in another video. Take care of yourself and thanks for watching. Oh yeah, and I almost forgot, please leave a like. If you enjoyed this video, hit the subscribe button, hit the bell and share the video if you know some other idealists who could benefit from the content. Much love!